Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Adkup Show. Picture this. Right now, 122 million people are on the move, displaced by war, chasing jobs, or fleeing floods. That's more than the population of Japan, reshaping the world in ways we can't ignore. Migration isn't just a new ticker, it's a force driving economies, sparking tensions, and rewriting geopolitics. From workers sending billions home to refugees caught in border dispute, the stakes are massive. Today, we are diving deep into the ripple effects of labor flows and refugee crisis, how they fuel growth, strain nations, and help to shape our future. So, without wasting time, let's get started. To kick things off, let's ground ourselves with a big picture. In 2023, the World Bank counted 184 million people living outside their country of birth. That's 2.3% of the entire planet. By 2024, the International Organization for Migration, or IOM, said that the number was still growing, driven by conflicts, poverty, and climate shocks. But migration isn't one story. You have got labor migrants. Think construction workers in Dubai or nurses in London. Then there are refugees, 43.4 million in 2024, according to UNHRC, fleeing places like Syria or Sudan. Add 71 million internally displaced people, and you have got a global phenomena touching every corner of the world. So how does this movement shape economies? Let's start with labor migration. Labor migration is like rocket fuel for economies. Capitalists around the world love migration. Take Germany as an example. Its population is aging fast and industries are desperate for workers. However, the country's industrial future is quite shaky. The OECD reported in 2024 that Germany welcomed over 1 million immigrants in just 2 years to keep factories running and hospitals staffed. Even Canada is on the same track. It has set a goal to bring 1.5 million newcomers by 2025. Research shows immigration can boost a country's GDP by 0.5 to 2% every year if integration is done right. These aren't just workers filling gaps. They are entrepreneurs opening shops, taxpayers funding schools, and innovators pushing industries forward. They are also consumers who do the consumption. But it's not all high-flying tech jobs. In the US, migrants are the backbone of agriculture. The Migration Policy Institute said in 2024 that 70% of farm workers were foreign-born. Hospitality leans on them too, from hotel maids to restaurant cooks. Now here's where it gets tricky. Automation is shaking things up. The World Economic Forum warned back in 2022 that 85 million jobs could disappear by 2025. Jobs like warehousing or retail where migrants often start. However, 97 million new jobs are coming. Think AI or green energy. But these jobs demand skills, and many migrants don't have those skills as they are mostly coming from third world countries. Without training, economies could hit a wall. Let's pause and think about that. If we don't retrain workers, we are leaving potential on the table, both for migrants and economies relying on them. Now, what about the countries people have left behind? Places like India, Mexico, or Nigeria lose talent, no question about that, but they gain something huge: remittances. That's money migrants send home, and it's a lifeline. In 2024, the IOM estimated global remittances hit $831 billion. That's bigger than all foreign aid and direct investments in low-income countries combined. For places like the Philippines, it's 10% of their GDP. In Somalia, a 2024 World Bank project showed remittances pay for everything from food to new schools. But it's not all rosy. Sending money home comes with hurdles. Transfer fees average 6%, eating into hard-earned wages. And the geopolitics can mess things up. Sanctions on Russia since 2022 blockade some remittances channels, leaving families stranded. Then there's a brain drain. Small countries like Jamaica lose doctors to Canada, crippling their hospitals. Yet there is a flip side. Diaspora networks spark trade and investment. Take Comoros. Its migrant in Europe sent back skills and cash that boosted farming in 2023 as per the World Bank report. Programs like Global Skill Partnerships are stepping up, training workers in Africa for jobs abroad while strengthening home economies. In 2024, Nepal sent nurses to South Korea under one such deal. So labor migration is a powerhouse. Billions in cash, millions of jobs, and a chance to balance aging populations. But it's only half the story. Let's shift gears to something heavier: refugee crisis. These aren't people choosing to leave. They are forced out by wars, persecutions, or disasters. And the numbers are staggering. UNHRC's 2024 Global Trends Report dropped a bombshell. 122 million people are forcibly displaced worldwide. That includes 43.4 million refugees and 71 million displaced within their own countries. Syria's civil war left 6.4 million refugees, mostly in Turkey and Lebanon. Ukraine's conflict since 2022 pushed 6 million abroad. Sudan's 2024 fighting displaced 7.2 million, and out of that, 1.2 million crossed the borders as per UNHRC. And Venezuela's collapse drove 6.1 million to flee. 75% of refugees are hosted by low and middle income countries, not wealthy ones. Places like Jordan, Bangladesh, or Uganda are carrying the load, often with empty wallets. Now let's talk economics. Refugees need support like shelter, food, healthcare, and that's all very pricey. Lebanon, with 1.5 million Syrians, spends billions it doesn't have. But here's the thing: refugees aren't just costs. Given a chance, they rebuild economies. In Turkey, hosting 3.6 million Syrians in 2024, refugees opened thousands of low-skilled businesses like bakeries, barbershops, etc., while hiring locals and boosting markets. Colombia is another success story. By 2024, it gave work permit to more than 1.5 million Venezuelans. The World Bank says that they are adding to the growth from construction to street vendors. But integration isn't cheap and aid is shrinking. In 2024, the IOM warned that donors' fatigue is leaving millions vulnerable. Somalia's crisis is a case study. 860,000 refugees and 3.9 million displaced people faced food shortages as aid dried up. Syria's economy is in tatters too, with 6.6 million displaced inside its borders, unable to return. Refugee crises don't just drain wallets, they reshape geopolitics in the ways that echo for decades. Geopolitics is where migration gets messy. Borders turn into battlegrounds. In 2024, Turkey's Syrian refugee population strained its relationship with the EU. Ankara wants more cash to manage 3.6 million people, but Brussels wants tighter borders. Meanwhile, Iran built walls to block Afghan refugees, risking clashes. And then there is outright weaponization. In 2022, Belarus funneled migrants to Poland's border to twist the EU's arms over sanctions. Russia has also been blamed for similar moves. These aren't accidents, they are calculated plays in high-stake game. Security is another trouble. Overcrowded refugee camps can spark unrest. Kenya's camps in 2024, hosting 700,000 Somalis and South Sudanese, saw tensions flare up as floods and hunger hit. And the journey itself is brutal. IOM reported 4,800 migrants died or went missing crossing to Europe in 2024. Picture sinking boats off Greece or Tunisia. Smugglers cash in because legal pathways are expensive and time-consuming. In 2024, 9.5 million refugees lived in camps globally, often stuck for years. That's not a system, it's a failure. But here's where it gets inspiring. Migration can bring countries together. The Global Compact on Migration, signed in 2018, pushes for safe, orderly movements. It's slow, but progress is real. In 2024, ASEAN nations like Thailand started Labor Pact to protect migrant workers. Tech is stepping up too. Somalia's 2024 remittance app slashed transfer fees, putting more money in pockets. Climate change is rewriting the migration map. The World Bank projects 216 million people could be displaced by 2050. Think floods in Bangladesh or droughts in Somalia. In 2024, 926,000 Somalis fled climate disaster as per Migration Policy Institute. These are families losing homes to storms tied to global emissions. Rich countries face pressure to fund solutions. Now, let's zoom out. What's fueling this migration? Well, the answer is demographics, for starters. Countries like Japan and Germany are aging out, and by 2030, the OECD says they will need 20% more workers. But fear gets in the way. In 2024, Canada's housing debates pinned blame on immigrants, even though data showed they drive construction. Misinformation twists the narrative, and we can't ignore the trafficking. Smugglers thrive where borders are locked. IOM says every country has trafficking networks. In 2024, 950 died crossing Sahara, and 7,600 perished in the Mediterranean Sea since 2021. Legal routes like Colombia's work permits cut smuggling's power. So does funding camps. In 2024, 9.5 million refugees lived in limbo from Bangladesh to Kenya. So what's the takeaway? Migration is complex. It has some potential and some drawbacks. Labor flows inject $831 billion into economies. Refugees with support rebuild markets and lives. But geopolitics, walls, sanctions neglect those things. The fix is to open legal pathways, train workers, fund aid, and tackle climate change. Countries like UAE and Oman are good examples. They don't offer citizenship, but they offer opportunities. Expats can earn and live their lives. So that's our deep dive into migration's ripple effect. There's another side to this coin. Countries in Europe are changing because of heavy migration, and those changes aren't really desirable. We'll discuss about that in some other video. If this deep dive got you thinking, then hit subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you for joining me. Let's keep exploring the world together. Catch you next time. Peace out.